So welcome again, and I hope you have enjoyed the sandwiches. So this is a 79 years old. She is a physician. She suffered from hypertension, dyslipidemia, and he is a heavy smoker. And she suffered from a severe COPD with a Torrington score of almost 9. So the surgery was contraindicated by that reason, and also because she didn't want to be operated on. She's a very short lady. As you can see, she's obese. She's like this, almost 140, 170 centimeters. So the index is almost 30. So the clinical presentation, she suffered from dyspnea and low class functional, like 3. The echo showed the normal left ventricular ejection fraction with the 58 with severe aortic stenosis, with an area the 0.7 with the gradient of 90 and 50, with a peak velocity of 4 meters per second. The coronary angiography, everything was normal there. This is the EKG. She actually suffered from some, paroxystic atrial fibrillation, so she was under anticoagulation, which was stopped 3 days before. You can see there she's on a little bit of bradycardia, but with the normal sinus rhythm. This is a heavily calcified aortic valve with a sinus of 25, 26 different measurements with a coronary height of 1 centimeter on the right and I couldn't see on the left is 1.1, so not too high, with the sinus not too big, with a lot of calcium on the valves. So then Gemal is going to comment about all of these findings.
Yeah, this was very concerning. So actually the great thing about this is that Oscar, Leo, and I just worked this up together just like an hour ago. We sat down, we ran through fluoro-CT as well as ProSolve to basically understand this particular CT scan. And this CT scan was acquired at an outside institution, and so Oscar doesn't have quality control over that. And a lot of us are dealing with CT scans from other facilities. So this CT scan had significant misregistration in the diastolic phase, where we would typically measure the sinus widths. So we had to really go back and forth between the systolic and diastolic phases that we had. We had to use both the fluoro-CT and the ProSolve. And actually, luckily, on ProSolve, we were able to get a better reconstruction, which gave us a little bit more confidence that the sinus widths were actually quite good, averages around 27, and that the coronary heights are actually a little bit higher than what this particular rendition shows. I think it was 13 on the left, 15 on the right. So it made us more confident with our valve choice of a 26 millimeter, which we'll talk about.
Okay, so this is some of the measurements of the annulus Leo did in the morning with 17, almost 18 by 21. Next. Yeah, so the measurements here are almost similar with
13 and change on the left, 15 and change on the right. And then our annular perimeter is a little bit better defined in this picture. It's definitely north of the 62, 63 that we were getting on the fluoro-CT with the poor quality imaging.
And here the projection suggested is right oblique at 1 and caudal 21 or 22 in la próxima. And here with the fluoro-CT, there's a little bit difference about the right view. Here the suggestion is 17.
Yeah. And so I think that we'll probably err on the side of doing this view. So like 17, 22, whatever, okay. And then we'll see. And if it turns out that we've kind of superimposed but not completely the right and left, we can come back a little bit more AP and see if that works.
Okay, yeah. Perfect. This is the iliac artery. As you can see on the right, the common femoral artery is a huge calcification. Although it's in the medial and a little bit posterior, we have chosen the other side to access. As you can see, I have the 14 sheath on the left. This is the puncture. I punctured even in this side, a little bit above this, all this calcium. As you can see there was some resistance, so I think it was a good decision to go by the left side. So then you see again, we have to make probably 1 injection.
Let's do it, yeah.
Let's go to the right.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that later. Okay, it's not bad, but you can see that you got a little bit of superimposition here between the right and left, and that they're not completely overlapped. So was it RAO? Was it 2217 or was it the other way around?
No, it's
it was
2217.
and then the other one was 117.
Yeah.
Is that right? Do we want to go there? Maybe.
Okay.
Let's try it.
Sacarle caudal hasta 1.
Maybe the truth is somewhere in between. So it was RAO 17 caudal 1. Is that right, or was it the other way around? I think it was.
Ok. Derecha 17, caudal 1. Ahí. Solta un cachito. Here.
No, it's worse. Yeah, it's worse. So as we go back to the original one, I just want to confirm, though, that this was it,
Yeah.
right? It was RAO 17 caudal 1? Okay.
Yeah.
So why don't we go back to the other view, then?
Yeah.
I think that's a better working view.
Vamos a la anterior y frisala arriba.
So unfortunately, at some point, you're kind of victim to the CT scan. We could make it perfect if we put two pigtails, into the left and right and tried to overlap them like that. But for this purpose and intents, I don't think that we need to be that exact about it. I think that this was good enough, the original view that we had. I think that the Meyer wire is an interesting wire. I think that the reason why I like the double curve Lenderquist a little bit better is because it has that 7-centimeter hydrophilic tip, and so it's a little bit more gentle. But the Meyer wire offers you the same type of resistance that you would want, right? So, I think that I like the stiffness of that wire, definitely.
Okay.
Okay,
that's
go on.
on. Yep.
Yeah.
see?
All right.
Very nice.
Okay.
4, 5 down.
Baja los 50.
Okay. But here we've got the flush ports pointed away again. So as we traverse, notice where the hat marker is pointed on the LAO projection. When we get more cusp overlap, my good friend Gilbert Tang would tell you that basically the hat marker is going to be pointed towards you, and that's going to, again, assure commissural alignment with the left.
You can repeat.
No. So can you?
Yeah, sure.
Say it again?
So the
Thank
flush
you.
ports are pointed away right now, and the reason why they're pointed away is because we want to keep the hat marker on the outer curvature as we traverse across. And then when we go to cusp overlap, what you're going to see is the hat marker is going to be pointed at us, and that, what Gilbert has found, is that basically is going to ensure that you're going to have a diamond instead of basically a strut frame in front of the left main. It's just the way that the left main takes off reliably from the sinuses, and making sure that you have some sort of alignment with the valve prosthesis such that you don't have any of the porcine tissue overlying the left main trunk. Perfect. Okay, that's great. We'll just position right there, and we'll just drag that back just a touch more. Okay, perfect. So now we just have the capsule really, at the LVOT. And what Oscar's doing is just holding steady pressure forward. So as I just forward here, Oscar's just holding some gentle pressure on the first position there, just to make sure the valve doesn't really move backwards. And the valve is deploying nicely. Why don't we test here?
Test, Carlos.
Just a little bit in. So he's just making miniature movements in now as the valve is going to start to flare. Okay, great. So we're compressed there. So I think we should just recapture, and then hopefully with that flowering, we should be able to pin this back, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and recapture now.
The size of the valve is 26.
26, correct. Okay, our depth is much better now.
Yeah.
So we'll just try to hold it in this position.
Yeah.
Test here.
Test.
Good.
Marcapasos.
Okay, yeah, whenever you're ready.
Yeah.
Let's
ready.
do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, going. This valve is deploying with an infold.
Yeah.
It's got an infold in it. Okay.
Yeah. Stop and marcapasos.
So why don't we look at the infold? So why don't you do an over-the-shoulder view, and we can look down the barrel of the valve. So maybe like an REO cranial view. Okay, so let's pull back just a touch here. Test.
Okay. Carlito.
Perfect. Leave it right there. Okay, let's pace again.
Marcapasos. Dale. Let's go.
Okay, going. Much nicer. Yeah. Much nicer. So the infold's gone now. Okay.
Listo, apágalo.
Okay, good. Yeah, why don't you dial it down? Yeah, whenever you're ready if you want to take a shot.
Yeah. Inyectar.
Yeah, so again, there's a lot of parallax in the valve frame, but we could see the leftmost line there. We pretty
Yeah.
much locked in about 2 to 3 millimeters below the valve plane, below the pigtail. So why don't we go LAO,
Yeah.
make sure we like our depth there. I think we'll choose to deploy this and then post-dilate if needed.
Inyectar, Carlos.
Yeah, and I think we're fine here. So, I mean, if we need to post-dilate, we're fine. You can see there's
Yeah.
more symmetrical expansion on the
Yeah.
non-side now. So let's release this and see what kind of result we get. Okay. So what I'll do here is I'm going to pull back the wire, and Oscar really has to do very little here.
The valve is almost.
Yeah, the valve is
Free.
just locked in. Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to do the same maneuver here, 15-degree turn, release, 15-degree turn, release. And this technique I never change. This leads to the valve not moving.
You can see there in the panel how gently and smoothly Gemal is doing the deployment.
Yeah, one tab at a time. That's our motto. Good.
Okay.
Awesome. Okay, and the valve did center itself a little bit,
Yeah.
you know, when we released it, so that was good. Okay, so we'll go ahead and just pull back the nose cone a little bit. Perfect. We can go to the inflow here, and we can just leave that there. We'll take the wire out. We'll do hemodynamics. You want to pull your pigtail?
Yeah.
You can. Yeah, I just needed
So-
to lift
so
this up. Okay,
Gemal-
fine. All right, fine. I think
Gemal-
it's okay. Yeah. Actually, this is acting like a ventricular assist device, everyone. So anyway,
El wire.
all right.
Ramal and Oscar is Rogério.
Yeah.
Listen, hopefully this unfolds not very frequently, but sometimes we face this kind of situation. In your practice and your recommendations, always to change the valve or deliver the valve
So-
and post-dilate?
Yeah, I like to post-dilate the infold out. Now just kind of, you know, frame under expansion, you know, to some degree.
Lamplets?
The same 20 balloon that we use for the pre-dilation.
Yes.
Okay, going now.
Okay. Apágalo.
He's not being
Pon
shy
al
with the
frente.
amount of contrast that he gives on the aortogram.
Cuidado. Podemos poner play en la imagen un segundo mientras mostramos eco. Hacemos picture to picture with eso, esa imagen y el eco en el.
This is going to look really good.
There, from the calcium on the non-coronary cuspid, maybe the deepest no more than 3 or 4.
No, it's a 3 millimeter depth, and you can see that on the echo as well. The transthoracic echo depth is pretty representative. You still have that little focal area there, but it's not as large as it was before. So, I mean, this is like mild to moderate PVL. I think we leave it.
Make a question to understand the situation. So if you had any valve and it's in the 80 or 90% of the size,
Yep.
let's say, you know what I mean, no?
Yeah.
Between X and Y, near Y.
Yeah.
And then you are in the upper limit of the valve.
Yeah.
So the remaining force for oversizing is not so much as, let's say, a valve in the middle of his size.
Right.
So I understand your perspective if you have a valve that is constrained in the middle of the size, but not if it's in the upper limit, or I understand wrong.
No, I think that it's just a concept of what is your intention with deploying the second valve. Is your intention with deploying the second valve to increase the radial force of the first valve? Because if it's that, then the way you increase the radial force of the first valve is not by simply putting the second valve at the same depth as the first valve was in, because that is not going to augment the radial force to a large degree. What's going to augment radial force to a large degree is if you deploy the second valve shallower. This procedure today was with Evolute R.
We are poor.
Great job.
Okay, we are done. I think Gemal is going downstairs, and I'm going to go downstairs. Thank you so much.
Congratulations for the case. It
job
was a very
sharing with
difficult
us your
case.
Very
expertise.
challenging case. Great job.
I think we are learning a lot.